Good evening, Star Pupils. I'm your host, friend, and life coach, Mrs.Divine, and I bridge the gap between intuition and intelligence. Today, I want to talk to you about breaking cycles. Okay, we all go through things sometimes where we notice that there's a pattern happening in our lives. And sometimes those patterns aren't the best patterns. They're bringing in things that we don't want to happen in our lives. So how do we go about making this change? We make this change by being courageous enough to break the cycle. So how do we break the cycle? The first step toward breaking any cycle is awareness, understanding the pattern that you're seeing that you would like to change, and understanding the fact that you have the power to change this by taking accountability. Once you take accountability of whatever it is that you're witnessing in your life that you don't want to experience, you take accountability about how this came to be, what you did, said, or whatever happened that led up to this event happening in your life, then you are able to empower yourself to know that it must be you who takes certain steps to make the change to break the cycle. One way you can break the cycle is by having an attitude of gratitude. When you have the attitude of gratitude, you lift your vibrations and you're surrounding yourself with energy that will bring more gratitude into your life. So this means not just for the good times, for the bad times as well, for you to embrace something that gives you gratitude for experiencing whatever it is that you're experiencing, whether it's something you like or not. Many times for myself, if I'm experiencing something that I don't necessarily enjoy experiencing, the gratitude I will find in it is the lesson and the awareness that I have about whatever it is that I'm experiencing, and my ability to be aware of that and allow myself to still feel the gratitude of everything else that had manifested, and that whatever it was that I had experienced that I did not want being just a little part of my day. That's one way, but it's no matter what you're experiencing, good or bad, finding the silver lining, being grateful is one way of breaking the cycle. Another way of breaking the cycle is for you to resist your desires that come with the habit of the cycle that you are trying to, or the habit that you are getting rid of. Okay? So for example, if you want to lose weight, you want to listen to your higher self like thoughts that say, don't stop at any restaurants, go straight home. Okay? And so you might have the desire or the craving to stop at a restaurant and I'll just get fries, or I'll just get, one thing, or I'll just keep it in this budget, making it make sense to yourself on why it's okay. But if you resist the desire, then most likely you're going to listen to higher self-like talk, and that will lead you to breaking cycles of unwanted experiences. And the third tip toward breaking cycles is alongside of that, which is to listen to higher self-like talk. So if you get a thought in your head saying, I should journal today, that is something that is coming from your higher self. I should do A, B, or C that is going to raise my vibration. Okay, we all have these thoughts that come to our head, or this self-talk that we do, and we hear what we're saying we should do. Our consciousness is coming through, but then we are able to ignore them or bypass them by tapping into what we desire or just what is easiest at the time. So going with the flow is something that can be used as a habit or as a tool that can be used as a tool to help break cycles as well, going with the flow, but it can also be used as a means of spiritually bypassing. So there are some people who spiritually bypass, and by this I mean saying that, I'm following the same chain of events that I always do that lead me to the same results because I'm in my flow. This is my subconscious mind doing its magic, okay? But the subconscious and the conscious work together. If you are all in your subconscious mind and you are all in your flow, then that could also be the fact that you are not bringing in your consciousness there too. Subconscious is the habit part. That is what you're doing out of habit without even thinking. So all your cycles, good or bad, are wrapped up in your subconscious. So in order to break cycles, you must use your flow wisely. So must you be in the flow? Absolutely. But you can consciously be in the flow as well, meaning you are helping to steer your ship. I refuse to flow into an iceberg because my flow is going to push me toward that direction. I will steer a little to the left or to the right to make sure that that is something that I don't experience. So another tool of breaking cycles is for you to consciously flow in your subconscious. Another tip on breaking cycles is to manifest and make affirmations. Okay, I did a video on how to make affirmations and how to manifest. So go back and look at those videos so you can see the details on how to do it, because it's very specific to the rules that are going to give you success in this area. But learning to make affirmations and set intentions, that's the video on how to set intentions. But learning how to do this tool will help you to break cycles because it starts mentally, right? And the affirmations and the intentions are something that we're feeding our minds, okay? It's our mental diet. It's what we feed our minds to help us start to think differently so that we believe we can do things differently, and then we end up taking actions that subscribe to the beliefs that we are now putting in our heads, saying that we are capable of doing this. So that is another way of breaking a cycle. You can also break a cycle by writing down everything it is that comes to your mind after, let's say, a meditation or some kind of meditation, even if you just take a hike or go to sleep and get up and the solutions come, or take a shower and the solutions come, and write down every solution that comes to your head and then pick some to follow. So being brave enough to take the steps and complete the actions that our conscious mind is telling us this is what we need to do, this is what we should do. This is what empowers us to do what we have to do to break cycles. Many times, cycles will not be broken if you are doing the same thing over and over again. So it requires you to be brave enough to take action. Okay, if your best friend or the person who has been your best friend for years is someone who has become really toxic in your life and it's holding you down, it may come to you that I need to let this person go. It may come to you that I need to not talk to this person every day on the phone. Okay, still my friend, but I'm just going to lessen how much we talk, okay? So that may be something that is challenging or difficult, something that you may not understand, they may not understand, something that you're really resistant to because you want to find a different way. But if this is the solution that comes to you and there are no more solutions, or it's one of many solutions, pick that one or another one that comes to you as a solution and actually stick to it and see what becomes of it. See what happens when you listen to the instructions that are already implanted inside of you that come to your consciousness. So being courageous enough to follow the solutions that come to your consciousness is another way of breaking a cycle that you don't want. Breathing, breath work, that is another tool you can use to help break a cycle. You can literally just visualize, sit, allow yourself the time and the space to sit and visualize the outcomes that you want to see of breaking the cycle that you no longer want to experience. Visualize what it looks like, feels like, all your senses kicked in to end a cycle like this and to begin a new cycle. What does that new cycle look like? And simply just breathe. Focus on your breathing as you are visualizing. Just focus on your breathing. Inhaling and exhaling. And tell yourself, I'm going to do, just name a number, 75 breaths, 25, 35, 150 breaths. So after visualizing this new cycle you want to create, just focus on your breath. Focus on breathing, however many times you say you're going to breathe consciously, and focus on it. And allow no other thoughts to come in. Just inhaling and exhaling. The sound of your breath, the feel of your breath. Connecting with the breath. And let that happen for the amount of times you said you're going to let it happen for, whatever number that is. And allow the breath to do the work for you. That's another way of completing your cycle. That's another way of ending a cycle. And finally, if you are mentally strong enough and you understand spirituality, you've been working on yourself spiritually, mind, body, and soul, then you understand that all is in the mind, right? All is mind, all is mental. And with that being the case, you can use that as a tool of breaking a cycle you no longer want to experience. Use this as a tool by simply doing things to raise your frequency. Once you begin to raise your frequency and vibrations, you will experience life on a whole new level, a completely different perspective, where even if you're doing mostly the same kind of things that you, or the habits that you picked up in the first place to have this cycle that you are wanting to end, keep coming around, your vibration being higher will knock off everything that doesn't align with that vibration, okay? So some things will literally disappear or not find a way to work into this new level of existence you're having in life when your vibrations are higher. Some things simply can't exist in higher vibrations. You have to match the vibration. Everything has to be in alignment. So even if it's, let's say, a relationship that is toxic, and the person keeps finding themselves getting in a toxic relationship like that, if they simply raise their vibrations, knowing consciously that they're raising their vibrations to set a new, healthier type of cycle, to end that old cycle that was not bringing them fulfillment, then simply raising their vibrations will do that. Whether something happens to the person leaves them, or a shift or a change is made, something will happen to have everything fall into alignment. But with all the different tools that I've given you, it all starts with accountability. Taking accountability is the key before you can make any change toward breaking any cycle that is unwanted. You must know that it is something because of you that allows it to exist. It is something because of you that can also be the key to destroying it. So have a wonderful night, star pupils, and continue to work on yourself and grow. Vibe high, then vibe balanced.